In the quiet village of Umuaka, where the air is thick with stories and silence speaks louder than words, a woman sat beneath the shadow of a baobab tree. Her name was Afua, and though she wore the black cloth of mourning, her grief ran deeper than any burial rite could touch. Her husband, Kobina, was a respected man, brother to the village chief, a trader, a man of pride and honor. When he died after a sudden illness, the entire village gathered. Women wailed, men poured libation, drums echoed into the night. He was mourned not only as a husband, but as a pillar of the land. But Afua mourned differently, for while the village praised her as the loyal widow, while the elders sang her virtues, and women envied her composure, Afua's heart beat with a secret that threatened to drown her in shame. She had lived with it for years, hidden beneath layers of tradition, obedience, and fear. Before Kobina, there had been Kojo. Kojo was Kobina's cousin, a man with no land, no title, and no ambition beyond his palm wine tapping. Where Kobina was proud and composed, Kojo was warm and reckless. Where Kobina spoke in proverbs, Kojo laughed freely. The village never approved of him, and so when marriage came for Afua, her hand was given to Kobina. Her love was not. Their affair continued in stolen moments, by the stream at dusk, behind the yam barn, in the spaces between tradition and temptation. They tried to end it, swore oaths under the moonlight. But love, once rooted, cannot be plucked without pain. Then came Yaw. Afua gave birth to a son 1 year after her wedding. Yaw had Kobina's last name, his blessings, his inheritance, but his eyes, sharp, amber, mischievous, were Kojo's. Afua kept her silence. Kojo never claimed him. Kobina, unaware, raised the boy with pride. Years passed. The guilt grew heavier, but so did the fear. Then Kobina died, and with his death came the final rites, a ceremony that sealed the soul's journey to the ancestors. It was during this time that Afua began to dream. Dreams of her husband, standing at the edge of a river, looking back at her with eyes full of betrayal. Dreams of a child crying in a burning hut. Dreams of her own face, cracked like pottery. One morning, Nana Abena came. The old woman was a seer, feared and respected. She wore white chalk on her face and carried a carved staff of Iroko wood. She did not ask questions. She simply said, "The spirits know. Before the drums stop, you must speak." That evening, the village gathered. Palm wine flowed, drummers beat their rhythms, elders chanted and poured libation onto the earth. Then Afua stood. She removed her mourning cloth. Her voice, though soft, cut through the air like a blade. "I must confess," she said, "not for forgiveness, but for freedom." Silence fell. Even the drummers stopped. "I was not faithful to my husband Kobina. I loved another. I bore him a son, and for 12 years I wore a mask for you all. But tonight, I remove it." The crowd erupted. Some gasped, some shouted, some cursed her name. Others simply stared, too stunned to react. Kojo did not speak. He stood at the edge of the gathering, his face unreadable. Yaw, confused and frightened, held on to his carved toy bird, not yet understanding the storm that had just broken around him. The chief's guards stepped forward, demanding she be taken away. But Nana Abena raised her staff. "She has spoken truth before the spirits," she said. "Let the gods judge now." The funeral rites continued, but something in the air had changed. The wind blew colder, the fire burned lower. The ancestors had heard. In the days that followed, Afua left the village. Not banished, but not welcome either. She took Yaw and walked toward the northern hills, where no one knew their names. Kojo remained behind. He never followed her, though his eyes lingered on the path she took. As for the village, they never spoke of the confession again. They buried it, like they buried Kobina, deep, with chants and silence. But some nights when the moon is full, and the wind howls through the compound walls, women whisper to their daughters, "Truth is not a crime, but it always demands a price." And they remember Afua, not as a perfect wife, but as a woman who dared to tell the truth, even when it broke everything.